Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm back. You know, been sick a couple days, so I'm back now. You know, I was what you call Walgreens sick. Motherfucker be like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Shit, I'm just Walgreens sick. I ain't missing work or nothing." Okay, Walgreens sick meaning I can walk up into Walgreens and get some shit to cure what the fuck I got going on. Okay, and that's what I did. So we back. Fuck it. But in this video right here, I think we need to put Brittany under the spotlight one more time. Because we all have the same question. Why has she not been arrested yet? Like, I don't understand what the delay is. Because in my mind, she knew exactly what was going on with her daughter. She knew. And for all we know, she caused the injury. You know? But in this video right here, we're going to highlight some shit that the police need to be asking Brittany. So hopefully in this video, we can help their ass out a little bit. But let's point out a couple things. About Brittany. Let's point out a couple things. So yeah, ride with me. So let's start at the beginning, and hopefully I can prove to y'all that Brittany knew what was going on with her daughter before she even left. Okay, and so we're gonna start at the beginning. Okay, now at some point during the time that Maleah is missing, Craig had a CPS hearing to go to. Okay, and I highlighted this report in one of my earlier videos, but when we look at everything together, it kind of it paints a different picture. Okay, now in this report it says that later in the CPS hearing, Craig said Brittany asked him to take Maleah to the doctor on April the 29th because something was wrong. Okay, and so Monday the 29th, Brittany called and asked Craig, could he take Maleah to the doctor? Okay, and based off of what we've uncovered in the past, in my opinion, Maleah, around this time, Maleah is sick. She's sick. Okay? Now, Craig then says that before he could take Maleah in for an exam, Brittany called him back and said Vince would take her to the doctor instead. Let me tell you one thing that bothers me about this is the fact that, okay, she called Maleah's father to take her into the doctor. And that's not unreasonable. I mean, I've done it. I'm quite sure, I'm quite sure some of y'all have done it. And so that seemed reasonable to me. The part that I have a problem with was that at some point, Brittany called him back and said, never mind, Darion gonna take her. So my first question is, and this is to Craig, when did she tell you, don't worry about it? When did she tell you that? When did she call you back to say, don't worry about taking her, Darion gonna take her? Because when I first read it, it felt as if they were saying that Brittany called him on the 29th, and then he was gonna take her in the same day. And then Brittany called him back the same day and said, don't worry about it. That would have been Monday, April the 29th. But I got a feeling that when she called Craig back, this was Tuesday. I really do believe that she called him back after the fact. After whatever happened to Maleah is when she called Craig back. So that's the first question. When did Brittany call Craig back and say, never mind? Okay, that's the first question. Now, with that being said, on the 30th, the morning of the 30th, look at this picture. To me, this picture spoke volumes. Because Maleah is trailing behind him. We already know she's sick. She don't feel well. Okay? And I even speculated in the beginning. I said, Something was going on at this very moment. I don't know, was he mad at her? Like, I mean, it boggles my mind because it's like he's so far ahead of her. We know she's sick, and it's like he ain't giving a fuck. Okay? So we questioned that. But another big question for me, and I know for a lot of y'all, was why the fuck did Maleah go with him in the first place? Think about it. She's sick. So I'm quite sure they knew she wasn't going to daycare. So why did she have to ride with Darion to drop off the other kids? Why? What was Brittany doing? That he had to take Maleah with him to drop off the other kids? That's my second question. Because we all know what Brittany said after this. After we see Maleah on this video footage. Brittany says, "Oh, he snuck her in. I didn't even know she came back." And we was all like, girl, bye. He ain't snuck in shit. And I told y'all that, when we first seen this picture. He don't look like he's sneaking in shit. And the conclusion that I came up with was Brittany was trying to distance herself away from this time because whatever happened to Maleah happened during this time frame. And that's between 7:54 and about 8:50. 7:54 to about 8:50, about an hour after we see Maleah right here. An hour. Something happened to her. And we got her mother telling us, giving us that bogus ass story. He snuck her in. I ain't even know she came back. We call bullshit on that, man. But to me, there had to be a reason why Brittany needed to remove herself from this time frame. Because don't forget about what she told us. Remember this? In these text messages, Brittany told us that Darion walked out with her when Jeanette came to pick her up to take her to the airport. It's right here. She said he walked right out with me. She seen Maleah wasn't with us, man. So, okay, because at the end of the day, the police got the footage. Okay? You can't tell me they ain't got all the footage. So, in my mind, they probably seen Brittany and Darion leaving out together and no Maleah. So when she came up with this whole outlandish ass story, he snuck her in, this, that, and the other. To me, it was to explain away why we was not gonna see Maleah with them when her and Darion left out. Then my next question was, okay, well, was that when we seen him right here at 8:53? When we thought that nigga was going to work. We don't know where the fuck he was going. But I mean, we were told that he was going to work. Okay? But did y'all leave out together then? Because Maleah's not with him. There's no Maleah around. Or was it after this? Because Brittany also knew that he only stayed at work for an hour. Okay? So again, in my opinion, the lie that she told us, it was to justify why we was not going to see Maleah on video footage walking out that apartment with her and Darion. Okay? And not only that, Brittany was well aware of the fact that there was video footage from those apartments based off these text messages right here. And you see, she said they only seen Maleah on the 30th. And then this text message right here between her and her sister said, well, what time on the 30th? Was it before or after you left? Brittany says, they only seen her on the 30th. That's all I know. Brittany couldn't answer that shit. She couldn't. And she didn't. Okay? Now, listen. We all know that Darion carried on with his week like he normally would. He stayed with his normal routine. like what we see right here. And I still don't know who the fuck leaked this video. I wish they would have gave us some more. Look, and he looked up like he was looking up at the camera. He carried on with his daily routine. And I pointed out to y'all that when this video came out, what this told me was Maleah was still in this house somewhere, put up somewhere. Okay? Now, when this came out, this is from Natasha. And in this message, she's basically going off on Brittany, and she says, yes, I told Quadria you spoken to your kids, because in my mind, every time I asked you if you checked on the kids, you would tell me yes. Okay? And that made sense. I mean, you out of town, you gonna be asking like, oh, well, did you call and check on your kids, especially if you done left your kids in another state. So every time she would ask Brittany this, Brittany's telling her, yeah, I checked on my kids. But if she was calling, checking on her kids, I mean, she didn't talk to Maleah. We know that for sure. She ain't talked to Maleah. I mean, was she not questioning that? You understand what I mean? Like, that, because we all know at this point, Maleah's gone. Okay? She's gone. So we know you ain't talked to her. So why was Brittany lying to her sister? That shit made no sense to me. So let's get into Friday. Okay? Because I got a couple more questions. Now, we all know this photo right here. And Darion is leaving out with Maleah at 1:40 in the afternoon. Okay? But let's look at what Craig told us. Craig had told detectives that he stopped by about 7 o'clock on Friday. So Craig is telling the detectives that he went to the apartment at about 7 o'clock on Friday. Okay? Couple things. The fact that Maleah at this point had already been taken to the car, because at this point she's already in the trunk. He took her to the car at 1:40. That tells me that Darion knew Craig was coming. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Darion knew this, and he got Maleah up out that house. Now, not only that, when we see Darion leave out again at 6:40, okay, now what that told me was Craig must have showed up about 6:30 or so, because we know Darion was gone before 7. We see him on video. But what that told me was, soon as Craig left, Darion left. Almost as if he was waiting on that nigga. So, did Brittany tell him he was coming? You understand what I mean? How did Darion know that Craig was going to be showing up? Because his movements made me feel like he knew Craig was coming. He probably didn't know what time, because again, he got Maleah up out that house at 1:40, and she sat in the trunk for 5 hours. 5 hours. Now all of a sudden you want to get her out the house. You done spent all week with this little girl laid up in there somewhere, probably already in a trash bag. You just spent the whole damn week with her in this apartment. Now on Friday, the day that Craig is due to come, you took Maleah to the trunk of the car. You can't tell me Darion didn't know Craig was coming. So who y'all think gave him that information? Yeah, Brittany. I mean, I can't see it no other way. If y'all see it another way, please tell me. Please enlighten me. But in my mind, Darion knew Craig was coming, and he got Maleah up out of there. And soon as Darion left to pick up the oldest boy, because understand this, he couldn't stick with the oldest boy. The oldest boy, he old enough to talk. He old enough. You know how kids are. They ain't got no filter. They gonna tell you the truth. This what they saw. That's it. And that's all, nigga. But as soon as Craig picked up the oldest boy, Darian got his ass up out of there. So again, who told him Craig was coming? And don't forget, this is the day Brittany is due back home. Remember? Now her flight delayed. She done hung out at the motherfucking airport. Now she got Miss Brenda caught up in the mix. Because remember, Miss Brenda had to go get her. And then when Miss Brenda went and got her, they went back to the apartment. And then remember, Brittany said, "Oh, I ain't got no keys." Bitch, you should have been known you ain't had no keys. Okay? Been known. But she done took Miss Brenda on this dummy mission. And then at some point, Brittany and Miss Brenda had to have discussed filing a missing person report. Because, and the reason why I say that is because when Brittany woke up that morning, Miss Brenda was under the impression that that's what the fuck Brittany was going to do. She was. But remember, Brittany didn't do that. Brittany went to Joe's house. She went to Joe's house. Now understand this. If Brittany was that fucking concerned, discussing filing a missing person report, all that shit. If you were that concerned, excuse me, if you were that concerned, why the fuck didn't you take your ass to Joe's house that night? You understand what I'm saying? Why didn't you go to Joe's house then? So you didn't discuss filing this missing person report with your mama. You didn't got up Saturday morning on the 4th. Your mama thinking you going to file a missing person report and you did not. But whatever you told Miss Brenda when you got back, she was under the impression that you had filed this report and somebody would be contacting y'all. Because don't forget what Miss Brenda told us.
And anyhow, it's a long story, but I really want to make it short. I'm going to skip that part and just go to Derry Ashford Police. She filled out the 3 forms on Maleah, Darion, and Cortland, and that was Saturday. And she went there once before that, earlier that morning, and she filled out, I think, 1 paper. I wasn't with her. And they didn't ask her to fill out any additional information. And what got me was, I decided something's not right here. Nobody's contacting us. Nothing's moving. So I went back up there and I wanted to know why.
Exactly. Exactly. Y'all heard her. Miss Brenda felt like something wasn't right. She felt it. You know how they say a mother knows. That's what this reminds me of. She felt like something wasn't right, and y'all heard her when she said, wasn't nobody contacting them, wasn't no movement. And she said she wanted to know why. So why would Miss Brenda be sitting around waiting on people to call her? Whatever Brittany told her gave her the impression that that's what was going to happen. And it didn't. And Miss Brenda, like probably how I would have been, like, come on, we're going back up here. And then now all of a sudden you need all these other forms and shit to fill out. Yeah. Brittany never went. I really believe that. In my opinion, just like with that whole airport shit, flight being delayed, sitting at the airport for hours and shit waiting on Darion, Brittany was buying time. And at this very moment, she's still buying time. But see, now she got Miss Brenda all caught up in the mix. Yeah. So, I want to touch on one more thing before I let y'all go. Just one more. We might have to make a part 2 to this shit. I don't know. But let's touch on this real quick. Do y'all remember the situation about the maintenance? About maintenance, like letting Brittany into the apartment. Uh, Let me refresh your memory. Listen to this real quick.
When we went to her house that morning, a policeman was in the parking lot. I just so happened a policeman passed, and I stopped him and asked him for assistance. And he was the one that asked the maintenance people to let us in. Well, basically, what happened was we called them like 4 times about a key, and they wouldn't come. So I explained to them that the policeman was here, and he wants in. Then they came and opened it up, because I didn't want to call the police department and they're in the house sleeping. So
Okay, so this always fucked with me because again, we got Miss Brenda saying they called maintenance 4 times. And I think when she say they called, I'm thinking she meant Brittany was calling maintenance, supposedly. I don't think she was. Y'all heard Miss Brenda. They didn't call 4 times and they ain't came. They didn't come. And again, it took Miss Brenda to save the fucking day. And what she do? She stopped the police officer that was patrolling the apartments. And that's when they called maintenance back like, look, the police won't in. Let us in. And then that's when they got into the apartment. I mean, to me, this seems like another example of Brittany buying time. She probably had Miss Brenda thinking that she was calling maintenance trying to get into this fucking apartment, and she wasn't calling nobody. And Miss Brenda, again, took it upon herself to stop a police officer and have him force the maintenance to let them in. Now, let me tell y'all this real quick before I let y'all go. I called down there to the motherfucking apartment place, okay? The apartment complex. And I was making general conversation, just making conversation. And I asked the girl about maintenance. And I gave her a scenario. And I wanted to know how would they handle that situation as far as their maintenance goes. Listen to this audio real quick. Let's say on the weekend I get locked out of my apartment. I mean, can I come to the office and get a key and then bring the key back, or does maintenance come let you in?
Well, it really just depends on office hours, and it really just depends on different companies. Each company has their own rules and regulations. Right. I don't know how it really works with whoever you live with. Right. So, I mean, I wouldn't be able to answer that. But usually, if you're locked out of your apartment and you are here on property, there is a fee because we have to pay someone to actually go out, go get your key and everything. So that's a service call.
Now, I don't want to misinterpret what this girl just said, but what it sounded like to me, the impression that she gave me was that maintenance is not there on the weekends, but they're on call. That's why there's a fee. If you get locked out your shit over the weekend, yeah, they're going to charge your ass. Because they got to get somebody to come out there, get your key, all that. Y'all heard her. Okay? So to hear Miss Brenda say that they were calling maintenance and they had called 4 times, I mean, okay, so why didn't they come out there? Why didn't they come out there? Or was it that Brittany never called them? You know what I mean? Because I know Miss Brenda wasn't calling them. She can't. She ain't on the lease. She ain't got shit to do with nothing. She not on the lease. So it had to have been Brittany claiming to have called them 4 times. Y'all heard her 4 times. And they never came. And it took for Miss Brenda again to save the day and stop the police officer to have them get into this apartment. I mean, that don't sound right to me. Brittany wasn't trying to get in that apartment. Brittany already knew what the fuck went on in that apartment. Okay? And again, she's buying time. And again, all this is just my opinion. It is what it is. This is my opinion. But we got Brittany doing all this lying. You know, her movements was all bullshit. All of it. All of it. And that's why you got people still out here saying, why the fuck haven't she been arrested yet? She did too much lying. You know, and when she started doing all these news interviews and shit, the bitch couldn't even face us. She couldn't face us. But like I said, she got Miss Brenda caught up in the mix. And then after all of this went on with Maleah, Miss Brenda placed an order, placed a motion to have Brittany and Darion banned from seeing the brothers that was left. And you got to think, why would Miss Brenda do that? It came out that Miss Brenda wasn't speaking to her. Again, a mother knows. She was suspect as hell to her mama, just like she's suspect as hell to us. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. And Miss Brenda stopped fucking with her. We ain't fucking with her neither. Because she's some bullshit. So, yeah. I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. And, I just took my medicine, so I'll be passed out here in a minute. But I'm gonna meet y'all down in the comments. Yeah. Let's talk about this. What do y'all think about this shit right here?
I'm going to stop right there. I probably said, well, I said what I know, and that's it, basically.